Hello fellow cinephiles, Film Guru here. Today I'm continuing on my Child's Play review, so this time I'm looking at Bride of Chucky. Now, this was a film that came out in '98, and they sort of took a different direction with this movie that was different to the others. He's ultimately brought back to life by Jennifer Tilly's character. The idea behind this character was it was like Charlize Ray's sort of girlfriend back in the sort of first film, and it's taken her 10 years to sort of find him, and ultimately puts him back together and brings him back to life. And this adds an interesting character. Ultimately, she sort of double crosses him in a way, so to get his back, he ultimately electrocutes her and transfers her soul into another doll, and it's ultimately these two particular dolls. And she's really pissed off about it. And ultimately, they just hatch a plan to go and find his grave and find his body, because he was wearing this particular medallion that could help them transfer into human form once again. Now, this was an aspect of the film that was new. This particular amulet that Charles Lee Ray was wearing, they never really looked at this before, so it sort of changes the films that came before in a variety of ways. And it's really hard to know when this film really takes place after. There's certain circumstances that are similar to the previous film, but it sort of takes things in a different direction. It was sort of a refreshing look at this particular franchise, I guess. And the reason they call it Bride of Chucky was a reference to Bride of Frankenstein, and that he creates his own bride ultimately. And that's sort of what this film looks at. There is a young couple in it who are ultimately trying to stay together, with the particular girl's uncle trying to keep them apart, who's the chief of police. And ultimately they hit the road and go on this road trip. And this is what the film ultimately becomes, a road trip movie. There is a lot of death and mayhem along the way, but ultimately it becomes about all four of them trying to get to a particular destination. There's so many great references to other horror films within this movie as well, especially at the start where the cop ultimately is given money to grab a bag full of Chucky's parts to bring him back to life. And as we move through this particular evidence room, we see Jason Voorhees' mask, we see Freddy Krueger's claws, we see Michael Myers' mask, the chainsaw from Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So it sort of becomes self-aware now, and it's sort of referencing a lot of other horror films and popular horror icons as well. And I sort of like that. It's on its nose about things that sort of jokes around within the genre and the particular franchise, talking about, for the story that's portraying now, Chucky says we'd need 2 or 3 sequels to do it justice. And that's sort of what this film looks at. It's like Bonnie and Clyde. And I kind of like that aspect to it, that it's sort of being self-aware, and it's containing a variety of other horror elements to it. And I like that. It isn't the greatest in the particular series. I still think the first one's the best, but the second one's really fun. This is kind of fun and entertaining. It's a very simple film. Don Mancini once again returns to write this particular film, and Donnie Yu directs this, and who would go on to do Freddy vs. Jason. I like the death scenes in it, I like the ideas in it, I like it's sort of a Bonnie and Clyde-esque story, I like it's a road trip film, I like that Chucky has a point purpose along the way and wants to become human. They introduced a new idea with the amulet. I don't know if that 100% works, but it's an interesting, unique idea. And there's something they do that sort of doesn't make any sense, and it could not happen. Ultimately, Chucky and his bride have a child. She becomes pregnant, which doesn't make any sense. But it kind of works and this leads into Seed of Chucky, which was the next sequel after this particular film. Look, I had fun with this. It was entertaining. It was a fun sort of story. It's good to see Chucky once again returning. I think he looks the best in this sort of one, and he's probably the funniest in this and has some really great one-liners and self-aware dialogue. And in the circumstances this character finds him is quite well done. And Brad Dourif is fantastic voicing Chucky once again, and has some great dialogue and one-liners. He's very, very funny and really stand out here. Jennifer Tilly is really great in this too. I think she suits his particular world and these particular films, and I think she's Brad Dourif's equal in many ways. And there's something really fascinating about Jennifer Tilly that I hadn't really seen before, and she's sort of a real vixen, like a femme fatale type of character in it. It has a lot of noir elements to it, especially with her character in Chucky, and I really like that aspect to it. And there's even this whole sequence where she's watching Bride of Frankenstein on TV, which is a straight and strong reference to the film they're making there, and I thought that was kind of interesting as well. It is a little on the nose with particular things, but overall it was a fun and entertaining movie. Final verdict. Look, if you like the Child's Play films of this franchise, you'll get a kick out of this. This is fun and great. It's probably the silliest and goofiest one out of the particular series, but it's a great fun ride and such an entertaining film that I just enjoyed every aspect of this movie. I'm going to give Bride of Chucky 4 out of 5 because I think it's entertaining and fun and I had a great experience with this movie. Anyway, that's all from me today. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please hit subscribe down the bottom. Follow me on Facebook and Twitter. Otherwise, until next time, enjoy the movies.